recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from New York, Mr. Espaillat.
The gentleman from New York is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in opposition to H.R. 3441, the so-called Save Local Business Act. This bill virtually eliminates joint employer liability under the National Labor Relations Act and under the Fair Labor Standards Act. As my colleagues have highlighted, there are numerous unintended consequences presented by this bill. I want to highlight the impact on an often overlooked segment of our workforce, our nation's farm workers. Farm workers are among our nation's most vulnerable workers. Farm workers work long hours in poor conditions for low pay. Many farm workers are undocumented and subject to severe abuse. The Migrant and Seasonal Agricultural Worker Protection Act, or AWPA, is the principal statute protecting agricultural workers. It establishes wages, health, safety, and record-keeping standards for both seasonal and temporary farm workers. Joint employment standards under this law and the Fair Labor Standards Act are vital to protecting the rights and protections afforded to these workers. Oftentimes, farm workers are recruited, hired, supervised, or transported by intermediaries, sometimes referred to as farm labor contractors. Farm operators utilizing farm labor contractors maintain control over working conditions, seeking to ensure the financial success of their operation. Despite this shared responsibility, farm operators may argue that the farm labor contractors engage their farm workers' sole employer responsible for compliance. The farm labor contractors are often thinly capitalized. This means if a farm worker seeks redress for a violation, he or she may not be able to collect from the farm labor contractors. Under the Migrant Seasonal Agricultural Workers Protection Act, joint employers' liability helps ensure covered workers can also hold liability from farm operators and their shared responsibilities. By amending the Fair Labor Standards Act definition of employee and creating a new, extremely narrow definition of joint employer, H.R. 3441 upends the Fair Labor Standards joint employer framework upon which we rely on. Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a statement from the Farm Workers Justice in opposition to this bill, and I yield back my time.
Without objection.